There is an invisible filter on dating apps that not enough men talk about, or not even enough men will discuss. And to be quite honest, it's an even harder time trying to get it out of women. There are height filters, there are age filters, fuck it, on Hinge, there's even race filters. But this filter is the only one that actually matters. And that is the physique filter. You can't find many people discussing the fact that if you just get into incredible shape, if you just have, low body fat percentage, decent muscle mass, specifically the V taper physique, that your dating success increases by tenfold, if not hundredfold. I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been on the side where I'm overweight, I'm out of shape, I'm, not looks maxing, and my success on dating apps was fucking piss poor. And I have now been on the side where I'm lean, I'm aesthetic, I'm attractive, mostly from just lowering my body fat percentage and hitting the gym. And the results are otherworldly. The results are tenfold, hundredfold. And this is not just me. I've seen this with countless other guys. I've seen this with my clients. Literally everyone I've spoken to that has gone from a poor physique to a lean, attractive, aesthetic physique will speak about the results. Now, yes, there are other factors such as having good photos. This is what I help guys with as well. But the major lever when it comes to building a dating profile that genuinely gets results, it is gonna come down to the physique 90% of the time. 90% of the time. Everyone knows how to take a good photo, right? Now, I emphasize the fact that when you don't have a good physique, you are literally playing the dating game, playing the Hinge game, the Tinder game. You are playing it on fucking hard mode. Genuinely hard mode. It's very typical for a guy who's, incredibly average to get maybe 3, maybe 4 matches a week if they're lucky, compared to guys like myself or guys who are in my coaching program who have seen incredible results, or even friends of mine, my brother, when they're on dating apps, we're talking 30, 40, 50 matches per day. I have a friend, in fact, and I'm going to get him to send me screenshots so I can put them on the chat. I've been helping him optimize his Hinge, optimize his physique. And after every morning, he'll clear his Hinge notification. And within an hour, the guy's got 90 notifications. I'll put a screenshot right here. 90 notifications. That is more notifications from Hinge that some guys will get in, months. And the biggest lever is always going to be down to your physique, because the amount of things that it changes for you, it changes how you fit into clothes, it changes how you carry yourself, it changes your confidence when you're messaging people, it most importantly changes your facial structure, it changes your body fat distribution. You are genuinely much more attractive when you have a lean aesthetic physique and a lean aesthetic face. And if you don't sort of realize that, it's because you're not lean enough. You haven't got down to the point where you're actually starting to get these benefits. And to be quite honest, I find that it's virtually useless going on a dating app and trying to, match girls if you haven't already maximized your physique. It's literally a waste of time. Imagine playing a video game on max difficulty and everyone around you has the best weapons and you are just there with a knife. You will not be able to compete. And that is exactly what dating is. The dating game, especially in 2026, is competition. We should understand by now that women are hypergamous. And this literally means that they date up. Even the 3s and 4s want a guy with an incredible physique. Women aren't going to date their equal. You have a girl who's a 3 out of 10, a 4 out of 10. Just because of the way the market is, they're wanting someone who's a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10, double what they are. And then the girls who are 8s, 9s, fuck it, they want 8s and 9s and 10s at least. They're never going to date down. It's not something that women do. And that is exactly what hypergamy means. And you can genuinely sway things in your direction on dating apps just by having a lean aesthetic physique. It's genuinely the most powerful thing you can do when it comes to building attraction with women. The way they throw themselves at you when you actually have a good physique and you have a few good photos. It's genuinely crazy. And people will say to you, "Oh, but you need to have good game, and game is the most important thing." People have done practices where they just, have a guy who's in incredible shape, and the guy can just say anything, literally anything, and it works. Literally use a random flurry of letters, and it works. Versus the guy who's trying to meticulously pick the right sentence. It's asinine. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be pulling the largest levers that will work for you. And outside of dating, having a lean aesthetics physique is going to do so much for you. And that is why I stress and I make countless videos. Go check out my other videos. That is why I make countless videos on this topic, because it's genuinely the most powerful thing that a man can do for himself. Now, a lot of people are still like, well, I don't know how to build that physique and I don't know how to get in shape. Number one, I'm a coach. That is exactly what I help people do. But to go on to sort of the surface level of how it is achieved is just, number one, having, decent musculature. Muscles are important. That's why a lot of girls go, "I love a guy's bicep. I want to bite a bicep." If you're on a dating app, you'll see a lot of girls' prompts will just be, "My favorite thing to do is bite biceps," or "I'm most attracted to biceps." That's just a way of saying I like guys with muscles. Not many guys are just gonna have a bicep. They're probably gonna have triceps, chest, back, shoulders. But the most important aspects of a physique when it comes to building muscle is always gonna be the shoulders and the waist ratio. And you build shoulders by obviously training in the gym, shoulder press, lateral raise, 6 to 8 reps till failure. And then you slim your waist by being in a calorie deficit. A lot of guys will come and say, "But I've got narrow clavicles and I can't have a V-taper physique." You can. The second that you build your shoulders and you get down to a body fat percentage that is basically just 10 to 12% and you have no waist, you will have a V-taper physique. No one's clavicles are that narrow and hips that wide that they can't have a V-taper physique. Stop with the limiting beliefs. So you want to build your shoulders, you want to build your lats. This is what's going to accentuate the sort of V-taper and make you look like a Dorito. That's why the whole Dorito thing is a thing. You want to build those two muscles and then focus when it comes to chest. You want to focus on the upper chest. That's going to allow you to sort of fill out a t-shirt. That's what's going to allow you to pop through. And then you're going to focus on obviously your legs, but that will actually never be skipped. But your abs. For the upper half of the body, it's your shoulders, your upper chest, your lats. Upper back and traps are important, but don't make them a priority. And yes, your chest and your abs. When I say that you should prioritize these sets of muscles, those 4 or 5 muscles, when I say that you should prioritize them, all it means is to simply shift them to the front of your sessions. So for example, I do a push, pull, legs, upper, lower split. In every single one of those sessions, say for example, push, my first exercise is shoulders, my second exercise is my upper chest. The same thing applies when you do, for example, my back day. First things first, lat pull downs. Then I focus on my upper back. Then I will go into the secondary and tertiary movements. But I can sit here and talk about how to train all day. The reality is, as long as you're doing 2 things, which is consistency and pushing heavy, you will get results. You should prioritize the muscles I mentioned, but as long as you do those 2 things, you will categorically get results. And then what really, really, really fucking moves the needle in, building your physique is going to be your nutrition. Now, you're going to hear a lot of bodybuilders and a lot of guys say, "Oh, just, chicken and rice and, fucking make sure you're eating low fat." Or you're going to hear keto guys saying, "Don't eat any carbs, just go 100% keto and carnivore." And then you'll hear some idiots be like, "I'll go pescatarian or vegan or vegetarian." No, those are all fucking wrong. I guarantee that I have one of the best structures for food in the fitness space and when it comes to building a lean, attractive, aesthetic physique. And the key here is simplicity over these complicated things. What you want to do is, if you are trying to get into a deficit and have a lean aesthetic physique, you need to ensure that you are, number one, in a deficit, and number two, eating whole foods, because it does so much more for you than just the physique side of things. Of course, the physique is so important, but you don't want to have this if it fits your macros approach where you're eating anything you want. You want to follow a whole foods diet. And that just simply means you're avoiding goy slop, you're avoiding, McDonald's, KFC, fast food, takeaway. You are going to be so much more satiated when you eat whole foods, and that is going to make your deficit so much easier to sustain. You have tons of guys out there, right, who will be in a deficit for about a week and then crash out because they've been doing it with if it fits your macros approach. They've been eating hyper processed foods with, super high calories, but really, really small portions. And then, they're eating like a meal or two in a day, and then they're just starving themselves outside of that. That is the most dumb approach. Why would you do that when you can eat really high volume foods, feel really, really full, and still be in a deficit? Now, I have this 8 food framework that I give to a lot of my clients that allows them to get into the best shape possible. And there are more than 8 foods you can eat, but the sort of guarantee that I talk about is if you eat these 8 foods in the right quantities, you will get results. Eggs, mackerel, Greek yogurt, a handful of fruit, so select fruit, pick the ones that you like basically. Select vegetables, not all vegetables, not the cruciferous ones, because they're full of a bunch of pesticides, poison, and things that will disrupt your gut. Beef, if you can get lean beef, so that's going to be things like mince or diced beef. Kind of want to avoid really, really fatty steaks. They're just too caloric. And then you want to go with potentially chicken if you maybe don't eat beef. Chicken, but beef is so much better for micronutrients. Chicken, and when it comes to carbs, I mean obviously fruit and vegetables, but potatoes and sweet potatoes. Now you can switch it out for rice, but rice is a lot more calories for a lot less volume than potatoes. They're one of the most satiating foods in the world. So going with those 8 foods in a calorie deficit will not only guarantee that you get lean, but you'll do it with relative ease. And then outside of just getting lean, I sort of didn't touch on this before, but you are going to feel full, yes, but your skin is going to start glowing. Your hair is going to start glowing. Your energy is going to be so much better. I mean, you can even see I'm in a deficit right now, and I'm always energetic. I've got hand gestures, and not many people have this energy when they're cutting. They always feel down and, energyless. And additionally, your hormones are going to be fucking on point. You want to make sure that your fat is still, 0.3 per pound of body weight. Your protein is 1 gram per pound of body weight, and you fill the rest up with carbs, because carbs are going to be the primary fuel source for your training sessions and giving you energy. Yes, if you follow that, I guarantee you'll get good results. The combination of training really fucking well and eating really fucking well is a literal recipe for looks maxing. And a lot of people don't realize that, they see clavicular and they're, I'm going to smash my face with a hammer. The biggest thing you can do when it comes to looks maxing is just getting in shape. The rest of it follows. Your jawline improves if you lose weight. Your breathing improves if you lose weight and get in shape. Your hair improves. Your posture improves. All of the looks maxing ideologies will follow if you get in shape. I mean, you've got guys that are training their necks, right? I agree, train your neck. But why the fuck are you training your neck and then not training the rest of your body? I mean, I don't train my neck, but I have a big neck because I train my body. Simple as that. You get in shape, you follow the principles that I've just given to you, the rest will follow when it comes to looks maxing. And then when you bring that confidence of your physique into your dating life, it's impossible for it not to be successful. It's impossible for it not to go well. Because like I mentioned in the beginning, girls will just start fucking throwing themselves at you. Girls will start really, really, really just making your dating life easy. I can't quite express it because it's indescribable sometimes. And I like to finish this video just by saying, girls will have one rule for one guy and entirely different rules for other guys. Promise you that. But if you are someone who's looking to get in good shape and you're like, how the fuck do I do that? click the top link in my description, apply for my coaching. If I believe you're a good fit, we can hop on a call, and check out my Instagram because I post a ton of value on my Instagram as well when it comes to body game, when it comes to dating, when it comes to building an attractive aesthetic physique. It is going to be linked in the description, but it's ZAKI 4 THOR. I'm named after a Norse god. So subscribe, follow, and I'm going to be posting 2 videos a week. So videos coming out on Wednesday and Sundays.